Hi everybody, my name is Oren, so welcome to part 2 on how to create a 2D multiplayer game using Photon networking plugin. Just before we begin, I want to say thank you so much for 300 subscribers. This is really awesome. I love, making those videos, and it would be really helpful if you can leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about those videos and what do you want to see more in the future, because I am here for the long run. So today we are going to implement two input fields, which one is going to be for creating a room and the other one is for joining a room. Now a room and a server is the same thing, I'm calling it a room. Let's begin. Awesome, so far, if you remember correctly, let me run the game. We have a connect to Photon button. Automatically it connects us when we click on it. It says connected, and if we are disconnected in the middle of the game or anything in the middle of this current scene, it will automatically identify it and create a UI that says you lost a connection for the user to actually know that. So, just for a way to make this project a little bit more clean, so I've created a p-complete files folder, inside of it scenes and a scripts. You can do it whatever you like. This is the way I do it usually. So section 1 view, I just want to remember which view this is, so I'm gonna say Photon menu. So section 2 is the connected one, which we are probably going to change. So connected menu, and this is the disconnected menu, so DS menu. Okay, so now I'm actually going to create an input field where the player can actually click on the input field and type the server name he wants to join. And if it's not going to join, it will automatically create a new room or a new server. So it should be in the connected menu. So I am going to change a few stuff in the UI. As you can probably tell, the UI is really not that good. You can change it or do whatever you want. But this is what I'm gonna do. So I'm just going to change the text a little bit, play with it a little bit around with the scale and the font size. So remember, this section view 2 is where when we are connected to the master. So the moment we are connected to Photon services, this is what UI the player would see. Okay, so I am now going to create two input fields, which one is going to be for creating a server and the other one is going to be for joining a server. So let's create the first one, and I'm going to be calling it as a I guess join server. Duplicated by Control and D, and create server. Just move it around a little bit, and again you can make it as beautiful as you want, and I highly recommend you to play with the UI a bit. Don't just copy and paste it. Do it the way you want it to look like. So this is going to be as just an explanation for our user. Awesome. So we have all of this stuff here. Now, if you don't remember, these input fields are not a button. So I mean, we are going to put a string here and get a string in a script, but we do gonna have to create another two buttons. So one is for this one and the other is for this one. And create. Awesome. So those two buttons does not the same functions, just of course, as you can tell from the names. Let's change the colors just for the way it will look. Okay, so now we are going to create a script that will handle our buttons, get the information from our input fields, etc., and basically creates the room or join a server. So let's call it as a Photon buttons. Great. So let's go ahead and remove the start functions. I am going to be using Unity UI. So because we are going to be using the whole input fields string, so input fields. Let me now create one which is join room, and the other one is create room. And it should actually be the opposite, sorry. Create room and join room. Let's give it as an input, just we can identify which variable it is. So let's close this up. Now we are going to create a public void for both buttons. So one is going to be on click join room, and the other one is going to be public void on click create room. Okay, so now we are going to create a built-in method again. So it's Photon network dot create room. The string of our create room input is going to be right here. So we are going to grab the text and give it a new room options. And we are going to actually set the max players right here. So the maximum players that the server can contain. Now, if you don't know, this is another tip that Photon, the free features can only allows 20 connection in general. So I'm going to put 4 players only, which is fine by me. Depends on the project that you are working on. Just, of course, if you don't know, this is the basic concept of multiplayer. As much connections you have, it would be a lot more difficult to make because there is a lot of parameters when you have a lot of players. Okay, so now I'm just going to create an if statement which actually checks if we typed anything in our input field. So if create room input dot length, sorry, dot text dot length is bigger than 1. So we can actually save this up and click on the save button. Go back to Unity and let's start dragging all of the variables. I will go ahead and create the join room method in a few moments. I just want to test something out. So you should drag the create room to create room, join room to join server. Let me just go ahead and open my Photon Connect script and change a few stuff. So instead of it being a button, we are simply going to say on awake. Really, it should be private, and you know, that's about it. Just changing it so it won't be, so it will automatically connect to Photon services. So now instead of making a button, we are going to drag it up, delete the button, and let's make it as an overflow. And just simply say connecting to Photon, loading, and please wait, or something like that. So it will automatically, when we start the scene right now, it will automatically connect to the Photon surfaces. We can actually check now if we are going to create a room, nothing going to happen. We have forgot to drag the functions. So in section view.2, we can actually mark those two with a shift, drag the Photon script object inside of our Photon buttons. I'm going to choose the create room, go ahead and open the join and choose the join room. Let me now just go ahead and create another built-in function within Photon networking plugin. So it is simply private void on, again with the capital letters, you should copy the exact things, on join room. And we can actually have another one which is a private void on left room. But you know what, this is going to be in more advanced, I guess, tutorials. So on click join room, on join room, this is automatically when the player joins a room, something should happen here. So let's just debug our logit. So we are connected to the room. Now let's create an on-click join room. So Photon network, the join room, and get the same string from our join room input field. So dot text, that's about it. Now let's save it up run the game and see what happens when we try to create a room now. So we are going to type blah blah. We are connected to the room. Awesome, so now we are connected to a room where theoretically other players should see us if they are going to join the same room string. So this is the very basic concept of it. Now we are going to create a few stuff with the UI, maybe moving a level. Let's now create another script. I'm going to be calling it as a menu logic. So this is simply going to control our UI behavior. So if you are connected to a room, it will do this, enable this, disable this, etc. So let me now create another public game object. Sorry, not game logic. Game object. Which is going to be the connected menu. Now we are going to create a public void. Disable menu UI. Now there is a lot of ways doing that. I just like to create a few scripts that controls each script has its own unique basically mission. So this script mission is to disable only UI. The other ones is to disable and enable Photon networking logic. So in this case it should be connected menu dot set active equals to false. Simple as that. Just save it up. Go ahead and open the Photon buttons. And let's create a reference for our menu logic. So menu logic.mLogic. When we are connected to a room, we are simply going to say disable menu UI. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag everything. So you can simply just click on the little circle. And this is the connected lobby, so just go ahead and drag section view.2. And when we run the game, and I will create a server now called EP.2, click on create. We are connected to a room, something just happened, we have disabled the UI. So theoretically, instead of disabling UI in this code, we will actually move a scene and our player should actually start playing. Awesome, now let's create a new scene. This is simply going to be the main game, so I am going to create a ground and a few objects so the player can actually see himself moving. So let's create a new material, sorry, not a material, a sprite and a square. I'm going to be calling it as a white one. Of course you can choose your own graphics, that's awesome, and that's what I actually recommend. But I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to use built-in sprites. So this is simply going to be the ground. So the ground is going to be a bit brownish, I guess. You can call it as a ground.collider because it does going to have a collider, which is a box collider 2D. Let's create an empty game object. I'm going to call it as a map. I guess you can call it map holder or just a map. Awesome, save this up. In the scenes folder you have, I'm going to be calling it as a main game. Now what I have in mind is creating a really simple left and right character that can move. So let's create a sprite. Drag our white sprite into it. Change the color to make it a bit more clear to the eye. So it's gonna be actually green. So this is our player. Meet our player. He's beautiful, isn't it? Let's create inside of our player a UI and a canvas or a text. But we should create a canvas. So it should not be overlay. Let's choose world space. Our event camera. So this is where stuff gets a bit more, I guess, annoying and complex. If you're spawning actually your player without a camera, and this is the only camera that you have in the scene, this camera is going to be controlled by everybody. So we don't want this to be enabled. We want this to be disabled at least at the moment. We are going to create a script that will actually disable it when the game starts. So let's create a camera inside of our player and reset all of the positions. We can just copy and paste the same one as the main camera. So this camera is automatically going to be followed by our player, because we are going to be moving our player, and the camera is automatically going to be moved also. Awesome. Inside the canvas, we want to drag our camera and create a UI of a text. The text is going to be our player name. So name, let's reset the position of it and reset the position of our canvas. Awesome. So as you can see, it's a bit big. I just scale it up a little bit, scale the font a little bit more. Can make it as an overflow if your text disappeared. And this is our player name, so just name. Hopefully I'm explaining it alright. You would probably see it in a few moments. So let's call it as a canvas.wallspace plname.text. Save it up. And we are going to create a box collider 2D on it and a rigid body 2D. Let's make the gravity a bit more big, so gravity scale is 4. And now I'm going to create a folder called prefabs. So our player is not actually sitting in the scene, it will be spawning when we are connected to the room, or when we want it to be spawned. So let's drag it as you saw and just delete it from our scene. Now as you can see, we have no cameras rendering, so we're just going to enable it back and create here some kind of a code that will say at the moment a player logged in, it will automatically disable the main camera. Okay, so now that we are back in our main menu scene, now instead of having what we have at the moment, we are simply going to have, instead of like connecting menu that's set active, let me just go ahead and remove variable 2. We are simply going to move to another scene. So simply enough, it is going to be Photon network .load level and the string of your level. So in my case it's main game. Awesome. Save this up and let's go back to Unity. Now let me run the game. We have onJoin server and create a server. So let me just go ahead and create a server called a server. And sorry, I have forgot. Let's go ahead and open the file, the build settings, and add all of our current scenes. So this is the first scene. Let's go ahead and drag our main game into here. And now let's run the game. Connecting to Photon, create a server. And awesome, we are connected to a room. So this is our room that we have just created. We haven't spawned anything yet. We haven't disabled our main camera yet. We haven't done anything. This is so far looks good. Now let's go ahead and create 2 builds at the same time and see what happens if I try to join the same room with the same string as the other player just created. So hit on build and run. Awesome, let's make it as a window so I can show you. Okay, so it's connected on this side. So we are not going to create a server because we haven't created already, but create a server is going to be BTO. Gonna hit on create. So we are now joined in the game in the other scene. Let's go back to Unity. From our editor, we are going to join the same lobby. So join the server called BTO, click on join, and we are connected to the same room. Even though we cannot actually see anything happens, it works. Trust me, it works. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Again, thank you so much for 300 subscribers. This is awesome. It will be great if you click on the subscribe button, leave a comment below. What do you want to see more? If you want to see more or other tutorials, let me know definitely in the videos. I always reply to them. And thank you so much. Again, I hope I explained it well enough. If I didn't, again, you can comment below and I will explain it probably better when I can actually type. I will see you next week with a different video. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much and see you soon.